Hey everyone, welcome back to Rhythm Railroad. This is my first actual train update, layout update. The last few videos have been basically just sharing what I've been doing to prepare the space down here in my basement. So I'm excited to show you that I actually have some bench work up. And I got pretty far, like in just 2 days. So I figured I'd share what I've been doing so far. This way I don't get ahead too far and then I have to make a very long video. So I'll try to go quick. Basically, what you're seeing right now is the yard, which is going to start here. That's going to be the throat where it opens up. And then it's going to go around. This is where the main body of the yard is going to be. And it's also going to turn into this wall here. So I still have to make the bench work over here. I don't want to go too deep here because it kind of gets in the way of, I still want to have some room here for my drums or whatever. So I might go like 1.5 feet. That's 2 feet and that's like 18 inches. So I don't know. I'm going to see what the spacing should be here. But that's going to be the rest of the yard. And then it's going to basically angle into the hallway right here where the staircase is, so it's not sticking out and it's in the way of getting stuff up and down the stairs. So by the time I get to the staircase, it's going to be super tight to the wall, like basically the size of a track, just a little bit bigger for clearance. So I'm assuming it's like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. So that's that. The bench rug right now is floating. It's just basically screwed. I'm using 1x4, so it's screwed. I went like 1 down, 1 up. Sometimes I did 2. I might reinforce that, but just with that, it's super stiff. I mean, the wiggling is just because I'm pushing on the end here. But this wall is actually a little bit off. It's like this way by 1 millimeter, so it's not perfectly level, but I've had to actually push down on the front part a little bit to get it level. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to brace it in just a few places. I figured the corner is the stiffest place because you have bracing from the wall on both sides, so I'm not going to bother with that. I'll probably brace here. I'm going to do like a 45-degree 1x4, or maybe something a little thicker, right up to the stud by the socket there. 1 there, I might do 1 here, and then again we hit a corner, so that's going to be braced against the wall along with the bench rug that's going to go this way, so that'll be stiff enough. And then over here I'm just going to put 1 in the center here, a brace right here going down at 45, because I have a leg that I built here. Now what I have here is the swing gate, which I'm very happy with how it came out because I was super nervous about the way this was going to work. Also, I got extremely lucky because when I designed this, I just kind of did it by eye. I just kind of eyeballed it. And I knew that in order for the gate, especially this width, to open up without rubbing against the benchwork, I would have to make this as an angle. This way when it opens, it automatically pulls back away from the bench, rather than making it square, and then when you try to open it up, it would be rubbing against the wood there. So that's why I did that, but not really calculating perfectly that when I swing out, there's a wall here, and this is a very long piece. So once I was actually almost done with it, and then I looked at it, and I looked at the clearance here, and I got very nervous. But I'll show you in 1 second when I open it up that it actually clears by that much, which is just, I think it's 1 inch or less. So yeah, this swings open all the way, and I don't have anything to hold it up right now, but eventually I'll have something, I'm probably gonna put a leg on this with some kind of wheel at the bottom, just to support the weight and also to let it coast as it goes. But it's very smooth. Also, I'm only working with 1 hinge right now because I have to reinforce everything. I'll show you that in 1 minute. But it closes very well right there. And then I'll have a latch here to kind of pull everything together and make sure the tracks are aligned. And I'll build also a lip like this, but it'll be, you know, this way, so it looks neater. So what I did just a few minutes ago was I put a 2x4 here, acting as a very solid corner for the hinge. Now, what I plan on doing to stiffen the gate is using 3/4 plywood or even an inch plywood and cutting it either in a triangle like this so that it fills all this, and also bracing it in the back either with 1x4s or 2x4s. I don't want to make it too heavy though. And then that'll take the weight off the center a little bit, and it'll also allow me to put a hinge here, you know, similar to this, or even a third hinge here, just to, you know, to make sure it stiffens it up. So now when the door opens, when the gate opens, it's a lot more stable. This leg, I'm going to also brace to the stud over there. I'm going to basically run something across down here somewhere, like right here somewhere. And it's gonna go all the way to the stud, which is here. So that it you know, it doesn't allow for the leg to swing this way. So I think that's gonna work out really well. I'm a little nervous about the second level because when I build that, it's gonna have to be a similar situation, but I might go with something different up there. Maybe I'll do a lift out or not. I might do the same thing. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. But anyways, I wanted to do this much of the bench work because this is going to basically dictate everything else for the most part. What I mean by that is that, you know, I wanted the yard to be level. I didn't want to be on an incline or anything like that because I didn't want cars rolling around while I was, you know, switching. And I wanted to make sure that this gate was going to be in place and that it was going to work before I committed to anything else. So now that all that is in place, oh, and the other thing that I had a little bit of a worry about was that this wall is basically floating. It's a pocket door. So, you know, I don't know if you know how these pocket kits work, but it's basically, it's just like sheetrock, and there's like a thin piece of wood that comes with the kit that's meant just to tie in the sheetrock, but that's like just floating there. So what I did is I put another 1x4 inside and I sandwiched it so that this is now connected to the inside and it's pulling into the sheetrock. But I know I still need more bracing, so what I'm gonna do is put a leg here going down to the ground. I might even put it in a little bit further so that I don't hit it with my feet as I walk through. And then obviously when I build the bench work here, it'll tie this part in, and then I'll have a leg either again, you know, at a 45 against the wall or something. But I'll definitely be bracing that from this wall, which is solid 2x4s, and the leg here, which is, you know, what's gonna take the weight off of the pocket door wall. That was a little bit tricky to plan out, but I think that's gonna work. I already cut that piece. That's gonna be the one that goes against the wall here. I just gotta figure out how far out I wanna come now, because now I'm in, you know, this is my main space here, so I wanna make sure that this is pretty wide. I might even go, I don't know if I'm gonna go 3 feet. You know, I wanna go kind of big here before I start getting to that wall where I'm making that turn. And then, you know, that'll be another gate situation there, but at least I wanna get there. Now, the weird thing is that this basement, you know, the floor in this basement was really at a level. And when they leveled it, quote unquote, you know, they did the best they could, but that height is significant. It's like 4 inches higher there than it is here. That's the way it was. They got it, you know, they had to pour a lot of cement here to bring it up, but you know, if they went up any higher, I would have been at like the first step of the staircase. So, you know, they tried to get it so that it was a lot less of a slope, but it is higher over there anyway. So, you know, the funny thing is when I measure here, I measured the height that I wanted ideally so that the second level wouldn't be like inside the window. But I still wanted enough clearance so that I can get, you know, so I can see. Because I hate when you know, the second levels are so low that you can barely see the scenery. So I made this at, I don't even remember. I think it was like 40 or maybe a little less. Originally I was gonna go higher, but you know, there's gonna be even a third level that's gonna have the return loop there. It's not the whole layout, but there is gonna be a third level for the return loop. So this is at 36, at 3 feet, yeah. So, you know, 3 feet here, but once I start creeping around here, this is perfectly level, by the way. I'm still pretty close here. No, I'm not. Oh, yeah. It's a little lower here. But by the time I get here, which is still perfectly level with the rest of the bench work, now I'm at 34 and a half, pretty much. So, yeah, so, you know, the ground is obviously coming up as we move through the layout. Doesn't matter. I mean, it's a little low just because, you know, when you're looking down at the layout, it's not ideal. It's better to see it more at like chest level. But again, if I want the second level to be at a level where it's actually, you know, like a chin level, for example, or a little lower, I can't go too high with this. So that's actually going to be fine. You know, if I really want to get, you know, if I really want to figure out, you know, how to see it at the best angle, I could just use a stool like I have here with wheels and just run the train while I'm sitting and just roll around. The nice thing about tiles is you can just roll around. You don't have to worry about like scratching up the floor or anything like that. So yeah, this is going to be the next section. One thing I wanted to do, and I'm asking for help officially right now, is that I wanted to start my staging yard lead here. Well, what I really want to do was start it here. And it was going to do a downward slope, a very small grade, all the way down to right where the staircase ends there. And then that would have been a foot lower than the bench work so that I can get my staging yard from that point on, wrap around the peninsula, that would be the return loop, and then come back up again. But the problem is that the slope, if I start here, according to my calculations, it would be like a 6% or 5%, and that's way too much in my opinion. I think 3 would be maxing out, and that would be, I really don't want it to be that. But what I figure is if I start here and I start slowly creeping down, by the time I get here, I'm already 4 inches or 3 inches lower. So that'll help the slope to be less. Also, instead of a foot, I might do 10 inches just to alleviate that also, so that I don't have too much of a climb coming out of there. I don't want to have like helpers and all this stuff. I mean, I suppose I could, and it'll be part of the, you know, just to add to the operation session. But if I don't have to, I don't want to. I want to be able to just pull trains out without having to, like, you know, sync up more locomotives and all that stuff. Now, the way I use that, I don't know if you guys, this is something that I came across, and I'm probably, you know, behind the eight ball here, but this little doohickey here, my wife uses this to measure inside homes. She's a real estate appraiser, and she has to do all these measurements inside the house. She's got a laser thing, and then she uses this also for outside. So I was like, oh, you know what? This is great, because a lot of times it's hard to measure when there's curves, because you can't really tell, you know, how much distance you're actually covering there. So if you measure from, you know, from point A to point B all the way to the back there, that's not realistic, because you have to come forward a little bit in order to make that curve. So what I did is I just basically took this thing, started here, and then I started rolling. But then when I got to the curve, I kind of mimicked what the curve would look like, something like that. And then same thing here, something like this. Oops. And, you know, so on and so forth. I'm doing this quick right now, but you know, I would have to end basically here. And as you can see, I'm at about 32, 33 feet. Now it's gonna be, you know, more, it's gonna be 33, because I took these corners kind of super wide. But this is a great little tool, and they're not expensive. I think they're like $30, something like that. But it definitely helps with figuring stuff like that out, because you just plug it into the formula, you know, the run divided by the amount of distance that you want to cover, or vice versa, times 100, and that gives you the slope, or the grade rather. But yeah, so by doing it that way, my calculations turn out to be about 3% to get down to that point there. 3% I could deal with, even though it's still a little steep. But like I said, if I make it a little shallower for my staging, then I think you know, it might be okay. I might even get like a 2.7 or a 2.6 out of it. So that's basically it. This is the first official actual layout video. I'm super psyched, and I'm making a lot of progress because I'm sitting here at home, working from home. I have my laptop, you know, nearby, so that anytime somebody emails me from work, I can respond immediately. But you know, since I don't have to be in a building, I'm just working here while you know, there's some downtime. So yeah, I'll probably get a lot of progress in the next few weeks or so. Cool. So I will be back with the next update. Thanks for watching.